Your time 6:40. No one investigates like News 4. For the past few months, our investigative team has been looking into restaurant safety.
Yes, and thousands of you have looked up health inspection reports for your favorite restaurants since we launched this Dicey dining database last week. New this morning, though, here on Wake Up, we're asking if local school cafeterias make the grade. Here's investigative reporter Luke Moretti.
Food service programs in schools have to undergo the same rigorous inspections as restaurants. News 4 Investigates discovered that a number of school cafeterias across Western New York have been cited for critical violations this year. News 4 investigates several Western New York schools with critical violations. A September inspection at Lafayette High School in Buffalo resulted in 3 critical and 4 non-critical violations. Inspectors noted that 3 trays of chicken strips had a temperature of 69 degrees and were voluntarily discarded. Bridget O'Brien Wood, food service director for Buffalo Public Schools, says the critical violations were corrected.
We're in compliance with all of our trainings, and truly, food safety is top priority. You know, we have 34,000 students every day that we're, have the responsibility to serve.
A reinspection of Lafayette weeks later found 0 violations. At North Tonawanda High School, a September inspection was done by Niagara County health inspectors. 1 critical and 3 non-critical violations were cited. For example, inspectors noted that tuna in a salad line had a temperature of 51 degrees when it needed to be 45 or less.
They voluntarily threw it out because it was out of temperature. And voluntarily, they just decided, let's be cautious. Let's just throw it out.
Alan Getter, who is Assistant Superintendent for Administrative Services at North Tonawanda City School District, says 2 things happened.
As soon as that was found, they did dispose of the tuna fish or the tuna salad. And the second is they reviewed their procedures to make sure that they were put back so that the temperature would never be an issue.
The school had a reinspection in October, which found no critical violations. At Dunkirk School Number 3 in Chautauqua County, a January inspection resulted in 1 critical violation. Bologna and cheese sandwiches were not held at a cold hold temperature of 45 degrees or less.
What I would surmise occurred would be that it wasn't rotated properly. It was either selling slow and not rotated back into the cooler, or it wasn't properly monitored by a line person.
William Thiel, business manager for the Dunkirk City School District, says they've talked to the contractor that handles Dunkirk's food service.
Not everything is done perfectly all the time. People make errors, and you get input, you correct the operation, you emphasize it again with your contractor, and you move forward.
At Nardin Academy in Buffalo, inspectors found 2 critical and 5 non-critical violations during a September inspection. Inspectors noted unlabeled chemical spray bottles on service counter by coffee station and on food prep tables in kitchen. In response, Nardin Academy states that the citations were corrected. Subsequent inspections found 0 violations. Mark Kowalski of the Erie County Health Department says in general, Erie County schools operate quite well and are responsive to inspections.
Their particular challenges can sometimes be support staff of cleaning and equipment maintenance, but once brought to attention, I find them very responsive to the reports that we give them.
Buffalo Academy of the Sacred Heart had a September inspection. 2 critical violations and 1 non-critical were discovered by inspectors. The violations included a couple of salad bar items not kept at the required 45 degrees or less temperature. In response, Sacred Heart states that immediate modifications were made to the salad bar system, including the installation of a metal freezer shelf to increase refrigeration. Over to Amherst and Maplemere Elementary School. A September inspection resulted in 1 critical and 3 non-critical violations. Inspectors noted that hot dogs were not maintained at a proper hot holding temperature and had to be reheated.
Back to a temperature of 165 and then down to holding 140. Time is being taken into consideration here of how long it had been out of temperature, and then a state's prescribed activity to put it back in compliance was applied.
Sweet Home Central School District Superintendent Anthony Day tells News 4 Investigates the issues at Maplemere were immediately corrected and says the district runs a strong, well-maintained school lunch program. Health department officials say there is a difference between schools and restaurants. For one, they say school food is not out as long because meal periods are shorter, and that cuts down on problems. Incidentally, there were over 700 school inspections in Western New York this year, and just about half had no violations. You can go to WIVB.com and check out our searchable database for school inspections. Luke Moretti, News 4.